Hello there, and welcome. It's Wednesday. I'm going to be reading from Enormous Changes at the Last Minute by Grace Paley. I have to take my glasses off to read, I don't know why. A young man said he wanted to go to bed with Alexandra because she had an interesting mind. He was a cab driver, and she had admired the curly back of his head. Still, she was surprised. He said he would pick her up again in about an hour and a half. Because she was fair and a responsible person, she placed between them a barrier of truthful information. She said, "I suppose you don't know many middle-aged women." "You don't look so middle-aged to me. I mean, everyone likes what they like. That is, I'm interested in your point of view, your way of life." "Anyway," he said, peering into the mirror, "your face is nice, and your eyebrows are out of sight." "Make it 2 hours," she said. "I'm visiting my father, whom I happen to love." "I love mine too," he said. "He just doesn't love me. Too bad." "Okay, that's enough," she said, because they had already had the following factual introductory conversation. "How old are your kids?" "I have none." "Sorry, then what do you do for a living?" "Children, early teenage, adoptions, foster homes, probation, troubles." "Well, where'd you go to school?" "City colleges. What about you?" "Oh, me, lots of places. Antioch, Wisconsin, California. I might go back someday. Someplace else, though, maybe Harvard. Why not?" He leaned on his horn to move a 16-wheel trailer truck delivering Kleenex to the A&P. "I wish you'd stop that," she said. "I hate that kind of driving." "Why?" "Oh, you're an idealist." He looked through the rearview mirror straight into her eyes. "But were you married, ever?" "Once, for years." "Who to?" "It's hard to describe. A revolutionist." "Really? Could I know him? What's his name?" "We say revolutionary nowadays." "Oh? By the way, my name's Dennis. I probably like you," he said. "You do? Do you? Well, why should you? And let me ask you something. What do you mean by nowadays?" "By the bird seed of St. Francis," he said, taking a tiny brogue to the tip of his tongue. "I meant no harm." "Nowadays," she said. "What does that mean? I guess you think you're kind of brand new. You're not so brand new. The telephone was brand new. The airplane was brand new. You've been seen on Earth before." "Wow," he said. He stopped the cab just short of the hospital entrance. He turned to look at her and make decisions. "But you're right," he said sweetly. "You know, the mind is an astonishing, long-living, erotic thing." "Is it?" she asked. Then she wondered, what is the life expectancy of the mind? 80 years, said her father, glad to be useful. Once he had explained electrical storms before he could find the book of knowledge. Now, in the cave of old age, he continued to amass wonderful information. But he was sick with oldness. His arteries had a hopeless future, and conversation about all that obsolescent tubing often displaced very interesting subjects. One day he said, "Alexandra, don't show me that sunset again. I'm not interested anymore." "You know that." She had just pointed to a simple sunset happening outside the hospital window. It was a red ball, all alone, without its evening streaking clouds. A red ball falling hopelessly west, just missing the Hudson River, Jersey City, Chicago, the Great Plains, the Golden Gate. Falling, falling. Then, in Russian, he sighed some Pushkin. "Not for me the spring." He slept. She read the large print edition of The Guns of August. A half hour later, he opened his eyes and told her how, in that morning's Times, the Phoenician had sailed to Brazil in 500 BC. A remarkable people. The Vikings, too, were remarkable. He spoke well of the Chinese, the Jews, the Greeks, the Indians, all the old commercial people. Actually, he had never knocked an entire nation. International generosity had been started in him during the late 19th century by his young mother and father, candle holders inside the dark tyranny of the Tsars. It was childhood training. Thoughtfully, he passed it on. In the hospital bed next to him, a sufferer named John feared the imminent rise of the blacks of South Africa, the desperate blacks of Chicago, the yellow Chinese, and the Ottoman Turks. He had more reason than Alexandra's father to dread the future because his heart was strong. He would probably live to see it all. He believed the Turks, when they came, would bring to New York City diseases like cholera, virulent scarlet fever, and particularly leprosy. Leprosy? For God's sake, said Alexandra. John, upset yourself with reality for once. She read aloud from the Times about the bombed, burned-out lepers colonies in North Vietnam. Her father said, please, Alexandra, today, no propaganda. Why do you constantly pick on the United States? He remembered the first time he'd seen the American flag on wild Ellis Island. Under its protection and working like a horse, he read Dickens, went to medical school, and shot like a surface-to-air missile right into the middle class. Then he said, but they shouldn't put a flag in the middle of the chocolate pudding. It's ridiculous. It's Memorial Day, said the nurse's aide, removing his tray.